So now I would like to, go to you, before you went for the program, you had no issues in life. But after, when we are into the spiritual path, a lot of struggles, this thing starts popping up. So did you face, were you very constant with your practice no matter what you would do, or did you face periods where you had to drop your practice because such content is very less? A lot of us drop the practices, but when we look at social media, everyone is like a hardcore yogi doing 4-8 hours of yoga. But is that the actual way, are there moments of questions, are there moments of struggle? What was that real journey for you? If you could throw some light, it would help a lot of us, I personally feel.
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think for the longest time, immediately, at least after the training, very, very sincere with practices. And then also, you should also know that my sadhana would take about like 5 to 6 hours, okay, at one time. And then, so which means that I have to wake up like really early so that I can finish my sadhana on time by 9, so that I can go to office because I'd have work. And then I'd have to come back from work, and then I'd usually have classes in the evening. Something like that. Like,
so I had tight schedule.
Yeah, okay. So I had I had a very tight schedule. And in all of this, I have to manage my food also. Right?
Right.
So there was this time where I had classes either in the morning, then I had to make sure my sadhana was happening in the evening because I couldn't not do my sadhana, and office during the day. So imagine when I had classes morning, evening. That time, food would have to take a back seat, like altogether. And so sadhana, there are days I've not slept. Okay, there's this one time I've not slept for about 72 hours because I had morning class, evening class, had just but I was insane back then. Okay, I was very like money chutna chahiye types and all that. Right. But I think that sort of bhoot sort of wears off after a certain time, I don't.
Right. But 72 hours, is that even possible?
Sort of does wear. So there was a time when that also happened. And then I had social scenes in between or something with the other. So 72 hours I think is the max that I've gone. And after that, like full crash and like slept through an entire day. Not something that I encourage, not something that anybody should do. So have I dropped practices ever? Yeah. I think so. Yeah. So like I was saying, my schedule's been such where I would have to take classes morning, evening, and I'd have work also. Then I have my own practices also. So there did come a time where I had to manage my practices in such a way that I couldn't do all of them together because I'd have so many other commitments that I needed to fulfill. I could not fulfill my work commitments, and I could not fulfill my class commitments, etc. So, and what also happens is when you go for a class, it's not just those 3 hours of the class. You go at least to 1 hour before for the setup, and then you at least 1 hour. It's actually more than that, and then the whole drive in Delhi to it. So it's a good 5-hour commitment anyway, minimum, right? Which is the class. So if you actually do the maths in the day, you don't have so many hours to do everything. Right. So I had to sort of manage my practices in such a way that, and it started by breaking the practices down. So I would do Upa Yoga and Yoga Asanas and my Kriyas on one day, and I would do Angamardana and Surya Kriya and my other Kriyas in one day. Like that slowly it started. And then there was a period where, family issues, concerns, personal setbacks, struggles, and just life situations around you are such a way that you're required to be either at a hospital constantly while also managing other aspects, or you're going through like a major emotional crisis and, all of that, and you have to deal with that, plus manage your work, plus everything else. So I think there have been a lot of situations where, but I've at least my Shambhavi going, or at least one Hatha, one Kriya going, or just an Isha Kriya going, something I kept going because I felt it gave me the ability or the resilience to bounce back from these situations really fast. Because sometimes I get sadhana is very important, but agar sadhana nahi ho pa raha hai, and that happens for a lot of us. And I know personally, it happened to me and nahi ho pa raha tha. I engaged in something else. I engaged in external activities. I started doing volunteering. I started doing, I'd go to the Bhairavi temple and sit. I'd just like wherever I could possibly apply, or yeah, and just move, move from that place and do something that engages you. Sadhana is a great tool, and I understand that it can be a big support. And if your body is allowing you, if your mind is allowing you, great. And I know a lot of people, particularly those who are dealing with depression, find it even difficult to get out of bed, in the morning sometimes.
Yeah.
So for somebody like that to say, hey, listen, you have to do your sadhana, has to happen. And I understand with some people it just doesn't. But you do something else. Go sit in a group of people and volunteer. Maybe that will help. Like just lay out carpets. That's such a beautiful sadhana in itself.
Right.
String some flowers. That's a beautiful sadhana. I think do something fulfilling for something outside of yourself. And for me at the time, I think Rally for Rivers was happening in that year, and I threw myself into that fully and came out of it. I felt like Sadhguru just like totally wiped everything for me in that moment, because it took me about 4 or 5 months to bounce out of that space.